right, welcome back to the Light Pulse Season 2 episode, what is this, 15?
542.
Yeah, let's say 542.
This is 15?
I believe it's 15.
I think if you count the first 14, then that would make...
Anyway.
If I could punch you in the mouth right now, God, I would.
Whoa, we're not promoting violence here.
Oh,
That was the most passive-aggressive thing I
that
think
really
you've ever
was.
said to
Wrong.
me.
Wrong.
I'm your host once again, Wiley, joined by Kyler, Joey, and Darian as usual. Thank you all for listening or watching. Today we have a pretty interesting topic.
We don't know.
Interesting topic here. We're actually going to get to something we've had this idea for a while. We just never got to it.
One of the first ones.
Yeah, one of the first ones. This is unanswered questions. So pretty much just like weird questions that kind of like, as humans, we can't really answer. We don't know the answer to them.
Don't expect us to answer here.
We are very we're very
We're
uneducated.
Uneducated.
There's some here that include like
There's laughing. What are you laughing at?
a specific group of people. And I just want to say we don't mean to offend anyone with our uneducation, okay? So
No, we're
keep that
just
in mind.
pondering.
It's the last time we prefaced that.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it's not. No, it's
It
not.
And we're always going to start an episode like this,
All
right?
right.
Because I said it in the last episode too. We're done with that,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. All right. Well, we have a list in front of us, and we'll just go down the list. Let's see, Kyler, do you want to start with the first one?
Sure. How old do you have to be to die of old age?
I've always wanted
I say,
that.
I
think
think
from a scale of 1 to 10, about a 7.
Okay, I
70?
think this. That's so great. I honestly think this is dependent on genetics more than anything else. If you have really good genes, I think old age for some people can be into like their late 80s, early 90s. If you have really garbage genes, old age could be like 60.
But
So-
you know
Yeah,
what I
but
was
even
wondering?
still-
Here's one thing.
When someone
about-
dies of like 65, you're like, dang, they still had so much to go, you know?
I agree. 65 is young to die.
Yeah.
Here's one thing about I've always heard, what he died from. Oh, old age. What does that mean?
Once
That
Do you
was my
just
question
you just
before.
you're just old and you drop dead? No,
No,
there has to
it's-
be something that happens that causes.
it's
you to
always complications. It's a lot of the times it's actually pneumonia.
die. Okay,
but it's
they
because
die
your
from
body-
pneumonia.
Your body is it's getting to the point where your immune system is super weak because you're older. It's complications due to old age.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
get that,
old
but
age itself.
there always is a specific reason. That's why when
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, what he died," I don't know, just old age. That doesn't
And
make.
it's
any
just like, yeah,
sense.
man,
Okay.
he was just mad old.
He's just old. Oh, what?
he
Like,
just checked out.
For example, when Betty White passed away earlier
Yeah.
this month or at the end of last month, it was like, what did she die? And everyone was like, well, she was
she's
99.
old. Yeah,
And I'm like, well,
what does that mean?
You're not allowed.
She had a stroke 3 weeks prior, so it's like,
did
Oh,
she?
really?
yeah, she had a stroke 3 weeks before her death, and that's what.
Oh, dang.
That's
Tipped her over the
terrible.
edge.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Okay.
But
from a
let's say
stroke.
you're perfectly healthy. I believe, if I'm correct, dying of old age is like organ failure, important organ failure. So kidney failure, liver failure. Because I looked it up once. I was like, what is dying of old age? I believe it's like failure of certain organs just due to been working so long and it's just they gas out.
Okay.
Mhm.
So-
All right. Okay. Interesting.
One answer down, guys.
Boom. Yeah, we answered that.
Check
We
mark.
solved that mystery. Right.
There you go. You're welcome.
Wait,
What do we call our listeners? Polars?
Brilliant idiots.
Oh, that's us.
That's us. Yeah.
Yeah.
We call ours I don't know.
Someone said
The
it
light
in like
polars?
someone
light-
said it in an Instagram
Light
thing.
bulbs?
You're like,
The light poles. Yeah.
no, I think Joey.
The
Joey
parking
said it.
spots. Like.
There's so many names that I can't say.
Go ahead, Barry. Go ahead. Go for it.
What are we gonna say? We'll cut this part out.
I'm pretty sure we're thinking of a few of the same ones. I want to know. All right. Anyway.
So question number 2.
Yep. All right. Daring, you read question number 2.
It says, what do people who are born deaf hear in their head?
Okay.
I wonder this all the time.
Is there a voice in their
So-
head? Do they have a conscience?
No,
Do they have a
because
conscience?
if they were born deaf, they've never heard. And it also depends on the severity of their hearing impairment. Why are you laughing?
This last one on the list. That's a really good one. Move it up. We're doing that one now.
No, we're not.
No, we're
doing
not
that.
doing that.
Anyway,
We're not doing
it
that.
depends on the level of hearing loss because some people who are like legally deaf can
Yeah,
still hear
it's like legally
certain
blind,
sounds
you-
and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just they're very hard of hearing. But people who are completely deaf, they wouldn't hear anything because they don't know what sound is. They've never experienced it. They can feel vibrations and things like that, but to hear thoughts spoken
look
out
it
in
up.
their heads, that's not how that works.
Well, that's what I mean. So how do you think?
Mhm.
Images.
Okay.
So
but
you
this
just
leads
have
us
a
to the
bunch of
next one.
images in your head of telling you what to do?
Sign language. I don't know.
No. But think about it like this: what do people who are born blind and deaf see in their head?
Blind and deaf.
Yeah.
Ask Helen Keller.
Stop.
Well,
Darren, stop working.
Wait,
she
what did you
was
say?
blind and deaf.
Helen
right.
Keller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you why'd that break your brain for a
You
second?
forgot she was blind and deaf.
She was famously
Because
blind and deaf.
what did she see in her head? That's
Well, she wasn't. I don't think she was born.
No, she wasn't born. But so this is specifically if you were born without being able to hear. You're born.
I think it was measles. Is that what it was?
and it
that she
caused
had?
it caused
And a
something.
fever or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
But still,
that did that to her.
us here, we can see things in our head, like we can imagine things. We have that thought in our head, our consciousness, our Jiminy Cricket, if you will. You know what I mean? So it's like
It's so hard to comprehend.
how do you think? Because thoughts are a natural thing.
Mhm.
It's not like we learn to think. It's natural. We're not animals. We don't have instinct. So
Mhm.
how this is crazy. Like how can you explain it?
what do you even
I would-
dream?
Yeah.
I would be interested in that, like seeing like an interview or something with like subtitles of someone who is both blind and deaf being asked questions like that.
That'd
Like
be crazy.
what do you see when you sleep?
We now for the listeners, we could have probably looked all this up before, but
Right.
that's not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not the
it's
point
not
of this
what we
video.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is pure speculation.
I'll look it up after.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting one.
Yeah, I would
Um,
love to see something like that.
This third one is.
It's checked off.
Oh,
Did we
you've
answer this
answered. Kyler's answered this on another one. If you read it, Joey, but I believe Kyler answered this at one point.
Oh, I do feel like I said something about this.
one? What would a room made of mirrors look like if there was nothing inside that room to create a reflection?
You said it was just white, right, or something like that. Or if there's
It's a black hole.
I had just recently read something about that.
yeah.
I forgot what it was that the answer was though. It was something like that though. It was like the fact that the reflections going off of each other, it causes some kind of thing with color. I gotta
And white is
Ugh.
just all colors mixed together.
yeah.
reflecting a certain
I can
way,
I could
so
probably
just-
find it again. If you give me some time, I'll find it.
Yeah, but I feel like we had answered that one. That's why it was checked off.
Mhm.
Right after we said we don't search up these answers before.
It wasn't
I-
it wasn't that I had searched it up.
No, he had heard about it already.
We had discussed that on a
Oh, yeah, no,
podcast
no.
like way long
That's-
ago.
Don't you stand over there?
That's that is very interesting though. Like you would think, is it just nothing? Like what are they reflecting off of? Like
It's just
it's
an
crazy.
infinite void.
It would just be
You know,
color.
I would-
It would be a room
I-
full of just a color
It'd be light,
or
whatever
light, whatever light. But how do you get
I'm
a
really
light in there?
Interested. I'm really interested in doing one of those like
Hmm.
mirror maze rooms type things.
boy.
A legit one.
Oh, legit
But
one.
yes, but at the same time,
You're scared.
that would really freak me out.
Mess me up.
Mentally, heck yeah.
That has to be one of the most disorienting things you can put your like mind through, trying to figure out which way. You don't even know which way is forward. You'd be slamming into walls. Eventually, all the mirrors would just have grease smears from your face, just like popping
Yeah.
into
True.
them. So you'd be able to figure out which
What
way is
about
forward.
that
But
one room that's like the quietest room in the world?
That's what I was gonna say.
They say I think
that's
the longest
crazy.
anyone's ever lasted in there was like 4 minutes or something.
No,
Because after a while,
No, I think it's a little longer.
there's a guy who did over
Is
half
it?
an hour in there. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I
30
don't
or
know.
40
but you
minutes.
they
start to
say
hear your
Your
heartbeat.
You hear
and the
your
blood
blood.
rushing through your
Yeah.
veins. That's wild. I would
I-
love that.
I would just like talk
That'd be
or
so
sing to
interesting.
myself. But like you would whisper
Right.
and it would feel like you're screaming. I think.
But see,
I'd be like-
I have tinnitus.
Oh, you have the
Why?
ringing. You have ringing.
So do I.
Would that mean that I would just like because
It'd
right
just be
now
like-
I have to sleep with like
That's what
my,
tinnitus is, right? If I
yeah,
if
it's just
I'm
a constant ringing in
if
your head.
I'm in a perfectly quiet room and I hear still like noises, that's tinnitus. It's like okay,
Mhm.
I have
It's a
tinnitus.
ringing in your ears.
Yep, I
yeah.
have tinnitus.
So
I haven't been like clinically
I just
diagnosed,
diagnosed you.
but I definitely have tinnitus. All right.
but yeah, like I can't go to sleep in a silent room.
Nope. I have to have
Because
it's
music,
just
like- it's
video,
neither.
something.
Yep. Or else I'll hear it. It'll just be
Fan,
I
a
sleep
fan,
with, I sleep
a
with
window.
sleep sounds. I have
Yeah.
thunderstorms playing when I sleep because I can't do it. But in a room like that is completely dead silent,
Oh,
How-
it'll probably be
how-
just like a loud ringing. Like, oh man.
just
Probably get
consistent
more.
ringing. Huh?
It'd probably get more and more louder.
Loud.
That's what I'm
Intense.
saying. It's just like reverb and then it's just like feedback because there's nowhere for it to go. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's a little not for me. All right, next
the ringing
one.
just goes out, comes right back.
Let's go to the next one here. What happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force?
Annihilation.
But what is that?
When
Complete and total destruction.
when
Yeah,
matter
like
and
that?
antimatter collide, it's annihilation.
So it's like
It's like a nuclear explosion almost.
okay.
Correct me if I'm
Because-
wrong though, but we've never seen
No, I don't think that's ever happened.
annihilation of anything. Energy can't be created or destroyed.
Well,
So-
matter and antimatter.
But do we have
They're
antimatter
two.
on Earth?
I think it was created in the lab. It might be theoretical. I
'Cause
Sounds
I know-
theoretical. Sounds theoretical.
I
But-
know that, yeah.
I don't
When it
know
comes
if we've
to
actually done it, but I
space-
feel like we did do something at one point with antimatter.
Oh, you
You
did?
know
But
They created-
I would shut up. But I would assume that immovable force and unstoppable object making contact would be annihilation. That's
That would make sense
In theory,
in theory. Yeah.
what else. What else can possibly happen?
just complete and utter neutralization of both of them. It's just destruction
hmm
down to its core. Wow.
That's pretty wild.
That's got to
What
be
would-
beautiful.
Is there anything physical that we would classify as an unstoppable, like an immovable force or an unstoppable object? There's nothing. Everything that we
Space.
physically know
Can move.
That's a good point, Joey. I believe as far as
Space.
space goes, it's an unstoppable force. It just
Yeah.
keeps expanding endlessly. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
an immovable object. What would be an immovable object? Nothing is immovable. With enough force, you can move anything.
My
That's like
God,
the-
hurts.
like literally.
It's like the question: if can God create a rock that He can't move?
Because
Because
if he can,
can't create it, He's not all powerful. But
All-powerful.
if He can't move it, He's not all powerful.
Yeah.
That's another
It's a
paradox.
paradox.
just like this.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Oh, I love it.
I
My
hate
head
thinking
hurts.
of those things. Yeah. It's like
I love it.
the sentence below is true and the sentence above is false. That paradox.
Oh,
Write a sentence.
this
the
this
set-
this statement is false.
This statement is false.
Oh, I hate that
The
one.
statement or whatever.
That was just like, no, stop.
Like all those types of paradoxes it just blows my mind.
Can I tell you that this next one, and I'm going to read it first.
Go
Do
for
we
it.
all perceive
Oh,
colors the
man.
same way?
Oh, that gets me every time.
I'm going to tell you.
It's the same thing. Like
I
when we all
just-
eat
it was it. No,
hibachi.
wait. No, you wait.
Okay, I'll wait.
Well, I
for
have
it.
to because you're
Fix
glitching
it.
out.
Turn it. Turn it.
Your mom
Wi-Fi
restarted
is
the
in.
router.
I felt it. It all just stopped right there.
Uh-huh.
No, they're working on the internet.
Oh,
Frontier is putting new
really?
fiber everywhere in our neighborhood.
No
I don't-
kidding.
I don't remember asking.
Oh,
True.
I don't like you. Never. None of you. Never did. Day one. Just unlikable people. But we're here for the money. So
Oh,
right.
Um,
man.
Oh.
You're on a different podcast.
Yeah.
it was It was the episode of New Girl where Winston finds out he's
Oh my
colorblind.
god, that is one of the
what color are my
funniest
sneakers?
episodes. He said, Winston, if you think those are green, what color do you think you are? Oh my god, I
Yes.
lose it every time.
I have just had the joke robbed from me because we don't know how to speak in turns because we stopped doing that in third grade. I don't know where we fell apart on this podcast. I just get the story
1, 2,
robbed
3,
from me.
eyes
Day
on me.
one.
All right,
My
you're at a
God.
5. Bring it to level 0.
I'm like the story on New Girl. But yeah, let me tell you the story. It's just move on to the next one. We'll do it live.
Wait. Go back. Tell your story.
No, that was the story.
Oh, you want me to cut it out
Oh.
and have it like you did it?
Nah, just don't hit the same. We could just talk about the actual question.
Do it in post.
Yeah. Do we all perceive colors the same way? It gets me every
That's
time.
interesting.
Do you understand? You get what it means, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
those listening or watching,
Yeah.
for
If I'm
example,
seeing something that's blue, to me that's blue.
to you
but
it may be
it could be-
green.
To someone else, it could be green, but they know green as the color blue.
Yeah.
You see how he
Everyone
just
says
robbed
that's
you of
blue.
that story that you were going to say
No,
right there, Wiley?
I'm
How's
fine
it
with
feel?
that. I'm
Well, say for
perfectly
example,
fine. He
we know
explained it
we all know
perfectly
that's blue, but we all see it as different shades of blue.
well. That's different. That's
That's just your eyesight.
or
It's
your
more like-
that's on your chromosome. That's on your X chromosome.
It's more like in my eyes, I see this as brown, and you guys see it as brown.
But
But
it-
how do I know that we're
it's the
all
same.
seeing the same?
Then my brown is the same
I
as
know
your
what you mean.
brown.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
What if
'Cause
this?
he
If I
thinks it's
swap to your
brown.
body and
It
this,
could be
you're
red.
looking at blue.
Yeah.
That would be the only way.
Yeah.
You have to transfer like your consciousness to someone else and see it through their eyes.
I
That's
love
really
That's-
weird, right?
Women genetically are
Can't be
able to
colorblind.
see with that, but they're able to see more variants of colors
Mhm.
than men can,
Hold on.
which is why like
back to what
they'll
Wiley
see,
said.
they'll see like 30 different. What?
Women can't be colorblind.
No.
Is that a thing?
What are the chromosomes that makes up a woman and a male?
X and
XY,
Y.
XX.
XY is men, XX is woman, correct?
Mhm.
The
Y
colorblind
chromosome.
the colorblind travels it travels on the X chromosome.
X.
So we only have one. So if the colorblind happens to be in that chromosome, we're colorblind. Now a woman has 2. So if she gets one chromosome, it's apparently it's like impossible for it to be on both chromosomes. So they have the other chromosome to back it up. So it's impossible for a woman to be colorblind.
I have no idea if that's true, but if it
Interesting.
is, then I just learned something new.
Yeah,
Right?
serious.
That is crazy.
Which is why also women can see more shades of color than men can.
Yeah. That's why they'll be like, oh, this is like this shade of pink, and a guy will just see pink, and they're like,
Yeah.
no, this pink is different from this one.
Like
They
you
look
ever
completely
you ever
identical
seen
to
the
us.
pictures where it's like guys will look at this and literally see the same color, and girls see like 3
Mhm.
different colors. It's
Yeah.
like I'm like I see literally the same exact color on all 3 of them.
Eggshell white, pearl
Yeah.
white, mist white. Yeah, yeah, it's true. Wow.
Yeah. So I go to Home Depot and I go to the paint section, and there's like 3 colors there.
or like nail polish. Which color should I
Yeah.
get? And they're all the same. What do you mean?
Like,
it's-
babe, you have 3 options.
Yeah.
Why is
So
it
one has glitter, one's matte.
yeah, it's
Roy G. Biv.
Yeah.
oh man, that always gets me though. Do we perceive colors the same way? Like, there's really no way of knowing.
You know, I'm sure there is a scientific way of confirming
Maybe.
it, but
Yeah, you're right. You
I
just
agree,
debunked
though.
that. All right.
We're just answering all these questions, guys. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Do we want to do the blind people one? We kind of answered that with the deaf.
we did that one. Yeah.
Who's next? Kyler, you wanna?
Can I do the next one after that instead? Because I like that.
Sure, Darren. You
Yeah.
wanna
Explain me what that is.
The last one, the one that I want to do.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then I'll do the,
skip right
I'll
to
do
it.
Oh, okay.
Skip right to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cryptids. See, I am obsessed with cryptids. Cryptids are awesome. Cryptid, by definition, is an animal that is located outside of its regional where it's supposed to be. So it would, for example, be
Like a shark in a lake.
Yes, or like a kangaroo in like the mountainous region of like Southeast Asia or something like that.
Mhm.
That's not where they're supposed to be.
Why are
They
they
shouldn't
there?
be there. Why are they there? Also, the more like popular definition is like mythological type creatures, like the
Right.
Bigfoot, the Yeti,
Nessie,
um,
Loch Ness monster, right?
Loch Ness monster, unicorns, chupacabra, stuff like that. Things that
Megalodon.
no, Megalodon
No,
was
it's
an actual
prehistoric. That's a
those
legit.
are
Oh, it was real. The debate is if they're still alive or not. You're right.
Yeah.
yes, or like mastodon and stuff like that. That they might be in the middle of the ocean or something.
Mhm.
But a megalodon in modern day would be considered like a type of cryptid kind of thing,
Mhm.
or like
Right.
the crack, stuff like that. So I don't know what the question is. Are they real or what are they?
I think
I know what they are.
I think we were
But-
supposed to. We didn't expand on it. Like just write down some cryptids.
It
and
literally
talk
just
about
says
them. It
cryptids.
just says cryptids. Yeah.
I've listened to so many podcasts.
Okay. Well, name
on
one
cryptids.
that you would interested in or that you know a bunch about.
Oh,
If you
okay.
can.
Ooh. All right. Just one.
Wasn't
One of my
Yonaguni a cryptid technically, or it has to be like a physical, like a being, like a living thing. That remember
It's,
you?
the island, like the island that sank.
Yeah, did we say that was a cryptid because it was like a city underground or something?
No.
Or no? Okay.
I don't think it falls under the definition
No.
of a
No,
cryptid,
'cause it has to
but I know
be-
what you mean.
Yeah.
It's an animal. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or like a sentient being.
Yeah, something that's
Um,
living or whatever. Yeah.
Mothman is pretty cool. It was 1950, if I'm not mistaken, in the
Why does that
United
sound
States.
familiar? That sounds
The
really cool.
Mothman was like a weird entity type thing that had a lot of reported sightings, or right around the time of the Silver Bridge disaster, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people died, and it's been seen around the events of like really terrible catastrophes.
have
So
heard of
people
that,
aren't
yeah.
sure if it's like an omen type thing of like warning of disaster, or if it's the thing that causes disasters. There were some sightings around 9/11 as well, flying around the towers before, like I think a week or two before, and then after as well. So people are like not sure if it's like something. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, and
Yeah.
it's not real. It's not like some crazy alien thing that's causing this, but it's just fun to listen to.
Oh, I
and
love it.
listen to people's like kind of theories about it and stuff like that. But
do
cryptids
remember
are
that. Yeah,
awesome.
West Virginia. West Virginia is where it
That's where it
originated.
was. West
Yeah.
Virginia.
West
Yep.
Virginia. Blue
But
Yeah.
there are a lot of reported sightings. It's not just like one isolated case.
A lot of Bigfoot too, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh well, Bigfoot is the most famous. When you say cryptid, if you want to easily explain cryptid to someone,
Yeah, Bigfoot.
just say Bigfoot, and that is like, okay, now I know what you mean.
I think it's
That's
pretty
so
clear. It's
crazy,
unfortunate that Bigfoot's like fake at this point, though. With all the either it's fake. No, I'm pretty sure it's fake. Yeah, I think I've come to terms with that. Pretty sure I've come to terms with that one.
I still catch myself watching like the documentaries.
Mm.
I know that they're not gonna.
It's
find
still
anything.
interesting. It's still interesting.
You're gonna waste an hour and a half, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, did you hear it?
Yeah.
Every single Bigfoot like
It sounds
tracker has their own mating call. I'm like, no, this is what Bigfoot sounds like. And the next guy will be something totally different. They're slamming wood, stuff like that. It's ridiculous. Oh, this is a Bigfoot nest. No, it's not.
And it's always crazy people doing it too. It's always these weird psycho hobos that live in the mountains of South Dakota.
I know you never have like a credible source of someone
Well,
doing it.
There was one documentary. I don't remember the year it was released, but they were actual like legitimate like hardcore scientists who all got from all around the world, who got together and reviewed all of the different footage, the casts of like the footprints and stuff like that, and they were able to pick out like, okay, this is a hoax, this is a hoax, this is a hoax. We don't know what this is. We're still trying to figure it out. This one might be a hoax. It looks a lot like a bear or whatever like that. But then by the end of it, there was like 2 things of evidence that they were like, I don't know. I don't know what this is, which is how pretty much every documentary ends. But this one had credible like scientists behind it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All right, we got
cryptids are
time
cool.
for 1 or 2 more, Darren, if you want to do that one that we skipped over, I guess.
Yeah. So the question is, what is sanity and what is insanity? I don't know who added that one.
It wasn't me.
I mean, this was a long time ago,
Yeah.
so I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
That is.
I don't even know how I would elaborate on that one.
Insanity
Insane
is
or insane?
doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
That is the technical definition of
The
it.
definition, yeah.
Yeah. But
I think that's like the quote of the day definition.
yeah,
Like
that's like the technical.
insanity is something different.
But as humans, we kind of all perceive it differently.
Mm-hmm.
But what's to say?
Clinical insanity.
Yeah, what's to say? I'm insane and you're sane. We can both be. We can all be insane. And there's maybe the sane people are the insane people, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like we have literally.
I'm interested in taking like a not a psychopath test, but like there are tests that put you on the spectrum
Right.
and tell you where exactly you are on like whether you're a sociopath, a psychopath, or like anything in between.
We should do that.
I would
we should do a
love to
lipo
take one of
version
those
and share our
goodness.
results
and see where like in Community
yes
when Britta was taking
we should do it.
psychology.
We should
Next
do it.
would love
episode,
to
guys,
do
we will
something
have the
like that.
That would be
results of this
interesting.
test.
We have to find a way to do it. Somebody.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they offer those online. It would probably be like a cheap version,
Right.
not like a legitimate one, but whatever it is.
Ooh, I'm really
We just
interested now.
I want to see where we would all
Can
fall.
we do like a
Have this-
civics test? Like maybe we do like civics questions, like the immigration test, because
If we would pass
one's
that,
really fun.
if we were
I passed
immigrants,
it in high school by one question.
I'd crush it.
I was this close, but I was like
went
one
through
of
high school.
I think 2 kids in my class who passed.
That sounds
It's
about
questions like how many senators does the United States have? How many congressmen do we currently have? How many amendments are there?
An immigrant that earns their citizenship probably knows, or most certainly
More
knows
than the average
about
American.
the United States government than the average American.
yeah,
100%.
Sounds about right. That sounds about right.
100%.
And they'll probably forget it in a year, just like we did in
Yeah.
high school.
But when they take the test, I guarantee better than any like new high school graduate.
Yeah, they
They
ask
would- they would
insane
smoke 'em.
questions that really don't matter.
It's questions about the government,
Yeah,
you know, that
in the
you
U.S.
have to
history,
know.
who was the 26th president and stuff like that. Like,
That is correct.
yeah,
Yeah. I see Crystal shows me these videos on TikTok of these dudes like walking around in like Times Square asking people like the simplest questions. And it is infuriating. Like, how many years are in a century? And they're like, 1,000? No, it's 10. And I'm like,
What's the first
you
month of the
got
year?
to be kidding me.
March.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
They'll be like,
Yes. Terrible.
they'll be like, we're doing a game called State or Country, South Dakota, and they're like, I think it's a country, right? No, it's got to be a. And you're like, oh my gosh,
That was-
it's always the young
There's
kids.
That
no
was-
way. There's no way. It's
that was
real.
Jace when we were at Six Flags. And
At
we
Six
were-
Flags. At Six Flags.
You gotta put him on blast like that. On the
Sorry,
platform.
Jason. I
Oh, that's
apologize,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
It
Come on, man.
honestly makes me like upset that
You know
these
what
are
it is?
people who will be like functioning members of society
Yeah.
pretty soon.
I think
terrible.
they
It
just
goes back to what's
assume.
insane.
I think they just
insane.
assume there's like trick questions, and so they just overanalyze it, and it's really just like, what's 1 + 1? 5. Like what? No, man. What you mean?
Pick number 3, my lord. Number 3.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
All
these
right,
next two topics
last
are-
one.
Ooh, they both look.
I
So
say we do
Joey.
the last one, and then kick it off with the next time we do this, we kick it off with the second one here. You know what I'm saying?
What last one?
We'll
Wait,
do the
what?
dreams
Last
one
one?
now as our last one.
Oh, okay.
So, what are dreams?
Goodness.
Joey,
Joey, what a question.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Thank
just
you
came
so
up with
much.
it.
What a question, dude. You're so introspective.
How does one begin to explain dreams?
It's your synapses just firing off on all cylinders. It's raw imagination.
But there are so many rules to dreams as well that we don't realize. For example,
You can't dream of a face you've never seen in real life.
exactly. You can't
While
create
you're
something
awake.
you've never seen before. You can look at a clock and look back at the clock, and it would never be the same time that you just looked at. For example, if I'm dreaming, oh my God.
Yeah,
If
that's why I gotta focus.
It's because of the pen. If I'm dreaming and I look at the clock and it says 9:20, And in my dream, I look away and look back at the clock. Within a second, it'll be like hours later, or it'll be a completely different time.
My thing is like, what is the purpose of dreams? So take out the
It's just
biblical
neurons,
historical
like,
perspective of it, right? Where people received, visions and
right,
that kind of thing through dreams, just strictly from today. Why do we have them? So there's a theory that it's glimpses into a parallel dimension of.
Okay, that ties into the
I know,
question.
I know. I'm just saying there is
But
a
that
theory
is also an interesting, theory.
I agree.
Every night you go into another dimension.
Trust me.
Can I?
Go ahead.
No, you do your thing first.
No. Dude, go ahead. Because I'm gonna go off.
Okay.
Okay, where are they going?
I was like, can I get what's it called? Can I get vulnerable with you guys for a second?
Absolutely.
Can I get honest for
I welcome it.
Please.
Darian is like, no, please don't. I tend to have a lot of dreams that involve destruction. Like
you destroying things?
No,
Or
not me
things being
personally.
destroyed around you.
Me witnessing like catastrophic events.
Cool.
That's sad.
Very weird. For example, I had one where for some reason I was on a big group on like this hill, like a park overseeing like water. But it was close to New York. And literally I saw a plane crashing, like a passenger plane into like the water. And it felt real. Like it felt like I was there. Mm-hmm. And another dream separately, like months later, was like I witnessed a city being bombed. And
you need to see a therapist, my boy.
Right? That's weird, right? And like,
Yeah.
And last night I had a dream where I witnessed a nuclear explosion. Like they bombed a country, like with an atom bomb.
This is getting progressively worse.
Yeah.
For real. This is ramping up.
But like I was on an entire separate part of the world, and the bombing was so massive that we can feel it from where we were on a different part of the world, like the ground shake. It was so weird. Like, and I felt like. I don't know how to explain it.
It's like a visceral reaction.
Right. I just felt like since we're talking about dreams, I should share that with you guys. I'm sorry.
I'd love to learn how to lucid dream.
Oh.
Okay, that's what I was going to get to.
Lucid
next.
dreaming is
before we get
next
to
that's
level. That's like a
creepy.
superpower.
No, we'll just go to it because I love it.
That is
Can you
creepy.
imagine having the ability to lucid dream? So there are ways that people have learned how to
You can train yourself.
themselves to lucid dream.
It doesn't take that long either. It's like a few weeks to like maybe a few months.
But then you also have to deal
But
with
it's not
sleep
like a
paralysis, don't you?
I
It
hate sleep paralysis.
depends. I don't
I believe
think
it's a
that's.
side effect. It could be.
I don't think
believe
always
so.
though. I don't think it's a set thing. I think with some people,
That's sleep
I
paralysis.
would
is
probably
rough.
be at greater risk for it. But
You get sleep paralysis, Joey? Danny,
I'm like scarred by it. I
Danny
literally-
Alvarez does too.
like
Yeah.
I'll open up a bit here.
Mhm.
I cannot sleep in the dark anymore. I literally can't. I have to have some form of light because I'm so scarred of how many times I've had sleep paralysis. I can't do it.
Yeah.
No,
I've had it.
that's-
That's that's serious.
I
No,
can't
it's
sleep on my
scary.
back.
Danny
I
said
can't
if he
sleep on my back.
Danny said if he sleeps on his back, he gets sleep paralysis.
I get it.
Same.
So I sleep on my side.
So whenever I take melatonin and I sleep on my back, whenever I take melatonin, generally I dream and I remember the dreams. But when I sleep on my back, I get the sleep paralysis.
It's
And
so
I've only had
weird.
it. I've
Wait,
only
so-
had it a handful of times in my life. When I was a
Everyone
kid,
here has had sleep paralysis
I
except for
haven't.
me.
I haven't had sleep paralysis.
Oh, you
guys
haven't?
had it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's the scariest thing.
I've
ever.
had it a
That's,
handful
that's
of
one of the
times.
main side effects for narcolepsy.
Let's backtrack real quick.
Makes sense. If I
You
had
said,
it.
and I remember it. I'm glad you said that because for those who don't know, you dream every single night, whether you remember it or not.
Mhm.
during REM sleep, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. If you don't hit REM, then you don't sleep or dream.
Which I believe REM comes
Rapid
every
eye
3
sleep.
hours. Between the third and fourth hour of sleep, that's when REM hits. Something along
Is it-
those
That was
lines.
is
the last
it-
few minutes, no?
Is it time?
Well, we go in
oriented,
cycles.
or is it by
I don't know if it's
how
time or
deep you are? How deep in sleep
Yeah.
you are?
It's based off of depth.
Yeah.
But we
'Cause
have
I-
there's
I track my sleep every day. So I have like a record of my sleep. So I like last night, the night before, I only had 25 minutes in REM.
really
How
Like,
how do you
well,
track
REM is
that?
short anyway.
How do you track that from?
My Fitbit.
Oh, it just like reads
tracks-
like your
it tracks
vitals
your-
and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was 25 minutes in REM, 4 hours and 48 minutes in light sleep. and 28 minutes in deep sleep. And that was my sleep.
Interesting.
That was it.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, guys, what was I gonna say? Yeah.
Sleep paralysis on your back.
Well,
Melatonin.
actually, it was both.
Uh-huh.
Yes, thank you. So, if I'm correct, I remember in psychology that there's 4 stages to sleep. There's stage 1, which is the stage where you're nodding off, and if you drop a pencil, you snap back awake. You're in that super light. Then there's stage 2 and 3 where you start going deeper, and REM is the deepest, which is also very quick, and that's where dreams happen. If you wake up right after your REM sleep, that's when you remember your dreams. And right after, it comes in cycles. So you go stage 1, 2, 3 REM, and then back to 2, 3 REM, 2, 3 REM. So in an 8-hour sleep cycle, you're getting 3 REM sleeps. That now, if anyone is actually, intelligent,
that would make sense,
they
though.
would know that that's false or true. I just remember something along those lines.
Mhm.
And I remember reading, or I don't know if it was in school. It's like if you happen to remember your dream, the minute you wake up, you only remember 90% of what you dreamed. If you happen to remember it, like at max.
It's a good
And
amount.
then as you go along with your day, within half an hour, it drops down to like 50. Within like another
Yeah.
half hour, it drops down to like 10. It's like, that's crazy.
One of
It's
the
a
big
steep
things,
drop off.
Yeah.
one of the big things of lucid dreaming and how to learn how to do it is to keep a sleep
Writing it
journal.
down.
Yeah.
Mhm. Like
So write down.
the minute you wake up, because you remember the most at that point,
Yeah.
you're supposed to write down every single detail of what you remember. And the more often you do that, the more often you'll be able to understand the fact that you're dreaming when you are. It's like Inception, pretty much.
Interesting.
And then
Guys.
you gain the ability to actually control what it is that you're doing.
I think I just understood why I'm so terrified of that doll and why I have such a childhood fear of it.
Why?
I think it's related to sleep paralysis.
It's
So when I was a
possible.
kid,
Oh,
I had this one night,
that's
where-
terrifying.
yes, where I saw the movie in the movie the rental place by my house, and I saw it, and I know I had nightmares every time I saw it. So I go home and I fall asleep that night, and I had a dream about these dolls bringing me through an orphanage in a red wagon, right? And I didn't know where I was
You
going with
still
it.
remember the dream?
I vividly, because I woke up from the
That's
dream
terrifying.
and I couldn't move, and I was staring up at the ceiling and I could not move. So I ended up falling back asleep and going back into the dream 3 times that night. And it was the worst sleep I've ever. I was sweating. It was
That is pretty
horrible.
bad. That's pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
And I just
See,
maybe that's
you never
why.
told me that.
That makes
how
sense.
I didn't.
My
I didn't
experiences.
understand why you were that scared.
That makes
but
a lot
that
more
makes-
sense.
This is the light pole like psychology.
Yeah,
my therapy
legit.
session.
Do you guys have reoccurring dreams?
Tell me more.
Once, one time, I had. Well, no, it wasn't reoccurring. It was continuation. I picked up where I left off the night before.
Chapter.
That's
two.
happened to me. That's happened
Yeah.
to me. I've
But
had
reoccur-
a
I've had-
reoccurring dream, maybe the same dream about 5 times that I can remember. And it's really weird, and it's very short. It's just a beat up house in the middle of a swamp.
Your dream. I would hate to be in your head.
Oh,
when
it's
you're
bad.
So
It's bad.
essentially, you're Shrek.
It's horrible.
Yeah. The tones are it's like a gray, misty, like a green overglow in the background, like very like a typical swamp kind of feel you would see in like a movie or show. And it's just the house. It starts off like close and it backs up like if it was a camera. It backs up and then it just rotates around the house, like I have in like a 360 view, and then that's it. That's the dream.
So, okay.
Dreams
Now-
are beautiful, man.
It's crazy.
What would happen if you saw that house?
In real life,
Probably.
yeah, I don't know. I probably break down. Probably.
Do you think that's part of what deja vu is too? You're seeing something.
What
in
is
person.
deja vu?
That's another
It's-
unanswered question.
So
I've heard that it's just
the
a
common
feeling
theory-
of urgency or like the feeling of danger.
Well, the common theory is one of your eyes, I forgot which one it is, I think it's your right
Mhm.
eye, sees things like milliseconds before your left eye. So in this few seconds that the difference is, sometimes when your brain processes the image that you're seeing with one eye,
It confuses it as a memory.
it'll accidentally be stored in the memory center of your brain. And by the time your left eye sees it,
Mm.
you're thinking that you're seeing something that you've seen before, but it's literally something you saw not even like a millionth of a second before,
as you saw it.
That's crazy.
Before, yeah.
as you're looking at. You're remembering it as you're seeing it for the first
Crazy.
time.
If that's true, that makes sense, and that's crazy, and that blows
Right?
my mind.
I had one the other day where I was driving and just the whole scene from the traffic to me grabbing my phone to the
Now,
light, and I was
it
like,
happens to me
I saw
all
this
the
weeks
time.
ago.
And then getting
The
that
weird-
slight half second of dizziness, you're like,
The weird part is when you're like, okay, I know someone's about to walk up and say something, and I know what they're about to say. And then that happens because you're not seeing it, but you're remembering that. That's the part where I'm like, it can't be the eye thing, or unless there's two like varying degrees of deja.
Maybe it's two memories mixing together, and yeah.
But you know what kills me with that? It's like there's times where the deja vu lasts so long, and you're like, hold on, guys, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
keeps going, and you're like,
That's what I'm saying.
That's me, dude.
When you can predict something, not that you're
Yes.
seeing it, but you're like, I know someone's about to walk over here, and like a second or two later they do, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
how?
Guys,
that's where it gets
We
weird.
just turned it
When
into a
we-
dreams episode.
when we do this the next time, we're going to start off with parallel universes, and I have the perfect segue to it because you can check it out. We're gonna kick it off with parallel universes and parallel dimensions in the next.
Are we
time
are we
do this.
continuing this next episode? Is it going to be
Maybe
like
we do
right
a
into
part
part
two.
two?
We could do a part
honestly, I
two.
feel like we have to.
Yeah.
Right?
because
That's what
we have to now.
But we have to start
have
with
to.
we have to start with the results of our like personality test.
Yes.
We have to work that now, like figure that out now.
Yeah.
This week.
As soon as we're done, I can send you guys a link to at
Please.
least one thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Cool.
yeah, I think
That was fun. That was a lot more fun than I was expecting
Man,
it to be.
that ending got juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did.
We got philosophical.
We found out.
We
We found out these guys get sleep paralysis. Kyler gets no REM sleep, and I have
I
some.
just don't get sleep. I just don't sleep at all.
I have
the
some.
origin of Darian's fears.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
some.
man.
I have some deep rooted issues apparently with.
Yeah, you
my
have some
dreams.
psychological.
So some
like-
psychological. maybe I'll be the psychopath in that test or something. Who knows?
Can you imagine? Okay, what happens if one of our results comes out positive for like psychopathic tendencies?
Listen, I don't mind sharing that if you want to. Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
wouldn't
I
be
would.
surprised.
I
But,
still
I mean,
would.
that's what we do. We do.
But that would be wild.
Look
I'd
at
be
guys.
interested in
Just
that.
real quick before we end, I looked it up. So on average, you go through 3 to 5 sleep cycles per night, with each episode getting longer. And if you get 7-8 hours of sleep, around 90 minutes is the average amount of REM that you should get. Spot on there.
Kyler only got like
But-
4 minutes.
Yeah, you definitely need some more, my guy. So do something.
No,
Figure it
That's
out.
the
Definitely
whole
some
point
more, my
of
guy.
it's a neurological disorder.
That's not
Grow
good.
up. I mean,
Alrighty then.
as we
Well,
roll in the music.
That's our, just grow up. That's our episode for today. Thank you for joining us. As always, Joey, take it away.
I'm gonna end with another quote. All right, guys, this is gonna be a thing. Ready?
Okay. Okay.
As Master Oogway said, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift, and that's why it's called the present.
I
That's
love
lights
it.
out on the Light Pole podcast.